Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Today, we are speaking with an American multi-instrumentalist, and I'm pleased that you've joined us to hear it. He's coming for 3 dates on 2 islands, starting Friday, March 30th at the Iao Theater in Wailuku, then Saturday, March 31st. They head to the Royal Kona Resort in Kona, finally at Hilo's Palace Theater April 1st. Trio headed our way, fronted by my guest. He's often known for who he's played and recorded with. Big names, folks like Jerry Jeff Walker, Willie Nelson, Jerry Garcia, Bob Dylan. I'm just naming a few. His self-titled 1972 album included special guest George Harrison of the Beatles. His 2011 album, Use Me, had the bands Levon Helm, John Hyatt, Dr. John, Los Lobos, many other noteworthy artists. This musician closely associated with Philadelphia, the place of his birth. He resides to this day in that general part of the country, currently living in the mid-Atlantic home to tax-free shopping, Wilmington, Delaware, also home to the Capriati's sub-empire, and of our guest, David Bromberg. Aloha and mahalo, Brother David. Thank you for taking a moment.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It's great to be talking with you. And how long have you had connections to Hawaii, aside from a couple of the superstars you've worked with, Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson, who live on Maui? Any other connections out here?
You know, I have some old friends who live out there that I've been actually just getting back in touch with after many years. No one famous, but friends.
We love that. Friends are all that's important. And how long have you been coming to Hawaii? What's your first trip that you can remember?
This is my second trip. The first trip was maybe 40 years ago.
Wow. When
I was playing a guitar for a group called the Phoenix Singers. I was just starting out as an accompanist. And we were doing a tour in Southeast Asia, and we stopped over in Hawaii. We were in Honolulu for a day, and that was it. So I'm really looking forward to this.
And this is so important then. You're finally coming, and getting you into the islands really going to be cool. Sort of describe, if you can, for folks, what we can expect with this trio and the kind of repertoire that you're going to be laying down for us.
Well, we play pretty much every style of American music there is. I do a lot of blues, and actually when I leave Hawaii, I'm going to do a series of blues festivals in Australia. So we'll be doing some blues, but also I have one of the best fiddlers in the country playing with me, so we do some more like bluegrass things. I myself am a writer, so we do some of my tunes, although not that many. I kind of like doing old pieces. So, and I actually can't tell you precisely what I'm going to do because I've never in my life planned a set. So it'll go where it goes.
Oh, we like the spontaneity of that. That's a good thing, to not have a set list. And of the songs you were talking about, are there going to be any particular things where you're going to be digging up songs that people are known for having associated you with others, like things you did maybe with Bob Dylan or Jerry Garcia, stuff like that?
No. I wrote a song with George Harrison that I occasionally do called The Hold Up.
Right.
But on the whole, I don't like to do covers unless they're obscure.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be mostly stuff that you've written, and then how much are you pushing?
No, it's not going to be a lot that I've written. It's going to be American music from different periods and different parts of the country. Americana
through the years, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
What are the fans have...
Oh, I do have one... I'm sorry, but I do have a friend who's famous from Hawaii that I should have mentioned. I haven't seen her in a few years, but some years ago I ran into Bette Midler in Los Angeles, and we'd met previously in New York, and we took each other to Tower Records, and we bought each other our favorite albums. Wow. And Bette bought me some beautiful Hawaiian, records of beautiful Hawaiian music. So I'm sorry, my mind was distracted.
Easy to be.
I should have mentioned that right away.
That's a really cool thing. That's a nice thing of hers. So then, and what were some of the things that you bought her?
I bought her a record called The Real Bahamas, which is an interesting record, and another record called the Penny Whistlers, which is a different kind of choral music and vocal music. It's odd. I was known primarily as an instrumentalist, but I discovered all my favorite records are vocal music.
It's weird how that can turn out sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
When you take a good look at what it is that you're actually into. Did any of the artists that Bet turned you on to the Hawaiian music, did any of those resonate with you? Are any artists' names that come to mind?
I can't say that I've ever really looked carefully at the names. I play the records all the time.
That's
but,
cool.
Once it gets on the iPad, the iPod, you don't really see the titles when it comes up. So
yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it's more about the sound. That makes a lot of sense. Fans of yours, David, have 2 Beatle collaborations to be thankful that you've been part of. How did you first meet those cats?
Well, I think the first time I met George Harrison, he was the first one that I met. It was in Columbia Studios, and I'm not sure why he was there, but he sang me one of my own songs, which he'd learned from Dylan. At least that's what he told me, and I was floored by that. And I discovered years later, I played on 2 of Ringo's albums, and he gave me some information I wish I had had some years before. He told me that John Lennon had sat the other 3 guys down and made them listen to my first record from start to finish. That they forgave me for that is a wonder. But and John Lennon is the only one of the 4 that I never did meet. I played with the other 3. My best friend amongst the Beatles actually was probably... well, I don't want to get into that. You'll have to excuse me. It's someone who's no longer with us. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you like that, bro.
He was part of their crew forever and ever.
What made you feel a bond with George enough so that he was your guest on that album?
Well, we wrote a song together. We were both at a very small Thanksgiving Day celebration at the home of a mutual friend. And it was just my friend and his family and me and George. And there was a gut string guitar that belonged to the daughter. And, we're both guitar junkies. So we ended up handing the guitar back and forth. And without trying to, we ended up writing a song together.
Man, you got some memories, bro. How did the Ringo hookups come?
I was at the Chateau Marmont in L.A. hanging out with my friend Rick Danko, and he had just been asked to play some fiddle on this Ringo Starr record, and he asked me if I would come and play fiddle with him. We're both pretty bad fiddlers. So I went, and Ringo knew me, so it went down very smoothly, and we had some fun. That was the album that he did, Year 16, You're Beautiful in Your Mind. That was the Richard Perry-produced album.
Good experiences with them? Any lessons that you picked up from being around these cats? Things about maybe just work ethic, could have been a production thing.
Well, I'll tell you, they're real professionals, and it was a situation. They're also very, at least to me, they were very nice humans. But you have to be on top of your game. You have to know what you're doing.
That's probably the case with a lot of the cats that you work with. And when you say that and you think about this last record, which has a lot of stars I was mentioning and great musicians as I was introducing you, is there like a different sort of, are you looking to create something different that you haven't done, different angles for an album that you haven't explored yet?
Well, The angle on this one is actually Use Me a little more than you may have realized. What I did on the record Use Me, and why it's titled Use Me, is that I called up Vince Gill and Dr. John and Levon and Los Lobos and Linda Ronstadt and all the people who were on it, and I asked each of them to write a song for me, which takes guts. Or chutzpah, and then not just to write the song for me, but to produce me doing it. Mm. Therefore, Use Me.
Right.
And each of them also performed on the tracks. Now, Linda doesn't write songs, so she just picked an old song that she liked the way I sang. And at the time, Levon was recovering from a surgery where he couldn't sing, so he didn't write. I didn't get a written song from Levon, but everybody else wrote me a song and produced me.
That's a nice way to do it. It's that's what I meant about the different angles. And
well, it's extraordinary. I mean, it was humbling to me that these people would take the time to do that.
Right.
You know, it was asking a huge amount, and that they said sure astounded me.
You do any of the recording there in Wilmington?
Oh, let's see. Did we? No. I think I traveled to wherever people were. You know, with Los Lobos, it was in L.A. With Vince Gill and Tim O'Brien and John Hyatt, it was in Nashville, where all three of those guys live. And I traveled all over to do it.
Why Wilmington, Delaware? What was it that drew you there? Was it the Capriottis? I'm trying to figure out what it was exactly. The tax-free shopping?
No. My wife and I had lived in Chicago for 22 years, and we weren't prepared for another Chicago winter, and we're East Coasters, so we decided to move back to the East Coast. And to be very honest, we both love New York City, but we couldn't afford to go back there. So we decided to try and find a place that might be just a little warmer than New York City. And I had a friend who lived in Wilmington. It seemed like the right place, and it turned out to be so.
Bro, I grew up in the Philly area.
No kidding.
My dad did some of the design work, I think, on your place.
Amazing.
Local company around there, Mitchell, did the design work.
Yeah.
Lou is my pop.
No kidding. He's a very, very sweet guy, and we enjoyed working with him a lot.
I'll tell him you said that. You go up to, I got to ask you this as we sort of come to the end of our thing, because we're talking the Philly area, and having grown up in that general area myself, you go up to Philly much for cheesesteaks? Are you a cheesesteak fan?
I'm not a cheesesteak fan. Nope,
no cheesesteaks. All
no.
Right. And do you ever get those Capriotti's turkey subs in Wilmington?
You know, I don't know the Capriotti's.
On Union Street, bro. Make it your business. Get over there and get yourself a turkey. It's like white meat turkey. Imagine the day after Thanksgiving when you like shred the breast meat into like little pieces and then you jam it into a sandwich. That's how they do their turkey. You got to try one of those.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, and next time you're on the river taxi, you think of me, Brother Dave, out here in Hawaii.
I will, Brother Dave, and I hope you come to one of the shows. Are you in any of the towns I'm hitting?
You are not hitting Honolulu, but because me and you had this nice powwow, maybe the next time you make it out here, we can try to stick you. I'd love to have you come by to the station. We have this nice 75-seat performance space. I just had Ben Vereen in there the other day. It's not a big money maker, but it's a great thing. It's good public radio kind of event. Get you exposure, but we were not able to make that work this time.
I'd love to do it. I really would.
Yeah, well, let's try to stay in touch. And,
all right, you got it.
And we'll make that happen. Tell me you eat water ice.
Oh, sure.
You go to Fusco's, that shack there on Union Street?
You know, I don't spend much time on Union Street. I'm over.
I know where you are.
I
know where the Market Street is, my brother. I know the area probably as well as you do. Head over to Union Street and get the Fusco's. You got to get the water ice. Not this time of the year, of course. So we're a little early.
Yeah,
I'm preempting.
We'll wait till it gets a little hotter.
I give you a big hug, and I'm gonna tell my pop that you said something nice about him. I give you a high five, and seriously, let's stay in touch. I'd love to bring you to the studio, dude. You're a real troubadour kind of cat, and I admire what you've done.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do it.
All right. Be safe. You travel safe out here, okay?
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Aloha, David.
Aloha.